if you're poor. They are killing us in England and across the world. And I'll tell you how sick this system is I was given a leaked civil service report just after the election, and it was asked by the government to look into how much would the government save if it raised the retirement age by 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years and 5 years. And it goes for the millions of actually billion pounds that are saved. There's another question in it. They asked civil servants to look into what was called natural wastage. Now, I think what was natural wastage? The civil servants, PCS, the researcher looked into it. And natural wastage was the term they used for those who would die rather than claim their pension by working extra years. So this government, not only is it trying to find money how much it will save by actually just increasing the pension age, but they are now having people work out how many extra people will die because of the raising of the pension system. That's sick. That is a sick system that puts profit before people, puts real human people's lives and just throws them on a scrap heap and wants to see them die. I tell you, I'm sick of this government turning around and telling people, get on your bike, go and look for jobs. We're going to cut 1.5 million jobs in the public, 600,000 jobs in the public sector and raise 1.6 or 2 million jobs in the private sector. It's a joke. Everyone knows it's a joke. There's nothing real about it. But they then turn around and say they're worried about generational unemployment. Well, I'm worried about generational unemployment. I don't want to see anybody on the dole. And they say there's a whole culture developing of children, their dads and their grandparents all on the dole, living off the dole. The DWP does some research on it, and first of all, there aren't many families at the moment living like that, though there'll be more. But there are 3 hotspots. Let me just tell you where those hotspots are. The Welsh Valleys, Bolsover and Doncaster. Do those names ring any bells to you? Tell you where their hotspots are. They're the old mining villages. These are the people's lives who were smashed by Margaret Thatcher and the Tories last time, and if they get their way, there'll be more generational hotspots. They'll be all over the country because they're going to try and smash other people's communities now. And they just ain't good enough. And for me, and for many working class people right now, this is a revenge match. They're trying to destroy our lives. It shouldn't be us getting on our bikes. It should be them getting on their bikes and getting right out of the whole system. Because they're putting profit before the environment, before the future for our young. There's money for war, there's money for tribe, there's no room to tax the rich, but they're going to keep squeezing us and squeezing us and squeezing us unless we do something about it. And I tell you what, I'm sick of this letter and it talks about the debt. They're worried about the debt. Well, you know, I've been in debt all my life. Never seemed to worry me that much, and I'm sure most of you are the same. You see, I tell you why I'm not worried about the debt, because I sort of had a little dig in and look around and see what went on in the old days. And at the end of World War II, the UK national debt topped over 200% of the gross domestic product. And for almost all of the 20th century, rarely has it gone below 40%. And now, I don't know if you knew this, did you know that 200% of our GDP we were in debt by after the war? Now, I've been 27, that means for 23 years of my life, actually more like 40 years of my life, we have been, do you know when we last paid that debt off? 2006. So for decades, we've been living under massive, massive debts. I didn't go to bed at night worrying about it, didn't even notice it. And what makes me laugh is today, what's the name of the debt? Well, you can take your pick, but according to the National Audit Office, the national debt stands at 893.4 billion, which is 53.9% of GDP. Some people say it's double that. All right, say it's double that. That's 106% of GDP, almost half of what it was at World War II. See, why I think this is also not just completely about profit, other than my logical angle to it. Because after 1945, what did they do about the national debt? Did they go slashing services? Did they go cutting jobs, throwing young people on the dole? Actually, no, they didn't. The 1945-51 government launched the National Health Service, started universal benefits, and we saw 3 decades of strong growth. It's about priorities. And this government wants to score a deal against everything that we cherish. I mean that. I think we've lived, many of us in this room, have lived under not a perfect system by any stretch of the imagination. But there was the National Health Service. It's always an old joke. My nan used to tell me. My nan, who grew up before the war, where she could never get her teeth done. She must have had a terrible diet because my teeth are still in my mouth. By the time she was 40, she had no teeth left at all. And she described when the Labour got in 1946 and introduced the health stuff in 47 and 48, she went to the dentist and got her first ever full set of teeth. And she then said, I weren't greedy, but I got a second pair, just in case the Tories got back in again and took the national service away. And I tell you what's going on right now is, for decades, Cameron and his mate, Sunita, hated the welfare system, hate the idea that workers think they've got a right to a job, a right to a house, a right to an education, and they want to take that away from us. They want to rip it from our hearts. And I think we have to start saying, in this situation, and it's the third point we get onto, we can start to see a polarisation take place. And I think we are seeing a polarisation. We're seeing across Europe the growth of the far right and fascist parties, and it's worrying. I mean, it seems to me, we get almost everywhere in Europe, they are getting between 5 and 15% of the vote. We've also seen a more worrying development in England with the development of the English Defence League. Well, you know, I think we've got a new name for the English Defence League, which is the English No Defence League, no Midfield League, no Forward League. It seems to me we have a real problem, but seriously, there's a serious organisation I think we have to deal with. And, you know, I want to say, in dealing with it, I'm proud to be involved in an organisation called Unite Against Fascism. It seems to me, if we're right and there are dark clouds on the horizon and coming closer towards us, we need a big umbrella, because if it rains, we're going to need as much protection and to protect as many people under it as we possibly can. And that's why we're going to make an urge today for everyone to go up to Dudley on the 17th of July and on Bradford on the 28th of August, because that's where the EDL are going next, and we want to mobilise against them and march against them and protest against them and say they shall not pass in our streets, in our communities, and intimidate Asian people, Muslim people, and threaten our way of life. And secondly, we hope to be able to announce next week that we're going to call a national demonstration with Unite Against Fascism, the TUC and the Muslim Council of Britain. A united demonstration against fascism, racism and Islamophobia. And we want that to be on the 6th of November, and we want to make that a big show of force to say actually the racists, the fascists are a minority in this country, and we will stand shoulder to shoulder with all those who face racial persecution, all those who suffer under the hands of this right-wing government and these right-wing bigots and these fascists and the BNP, and we have to make sure everyone mobilises for that demonstration, make it as big and vibrant as possible, to sort of be the beginning of a standard. And I'll say something else that bothers me. It's been hard in the last 6 months on the demonstrations against the fascists, because the way the police have treated us. The police have treated the anti-racist movement as it's the problem and not the EDL. In fact, so much so that the Greater Manchester Police Chief said he thought the EDL would well behaved and it was Unite Against Fascism that caused the trouble. And we've seen people like Raymond Bennett falsely arrested and other leading people from Manchester falsely arrested, and myself. And I think we have to ask a quick question: what's going on?